Welcome to Libby's Lounge, Author Hangout Edition, where the books are great, but the authors are even better. Today we have Jordan Fitch with us, and we are talking about anything and everything. So, how's it going?
It's going well. So it's a beer clock for me. I know it's very early out there. I've lived in Okinawa, so I understand the need for coffee. There you go. Hey, you got custom coffee mug and everything. That's amazing.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
got,
good
well, it's
stuff.
tea. I can't drink coffee anymore,
Okay,
uh, but I've got some tea brewing
and
because it is early.
and Japan has a very robust tea culture, so I'm sure it's not hard to find some good stuff out there.
Oh, it's so good.
Yep.
When did you live in Oki?
It was 2001 to 2003.
Did you like it?
I did, yeah. I mean, at the time I was, 20, 21. I turned 21 out there actually, yeah. I did, some of the cultural and tour stuff type stuff, and saw a lot of history, and certainly now if I were there, I would have done a lot more. At the time I was, young and hanging out with the other Marines and doing more of the Marine extracurriculars, if you will. But
Gate 2 Street?
yep. I've been there a few times. I was more of a spectator there. Yeah. So
You'll be happy to know it's probably still exactly the same.
yeah, I'm sure.
Um,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. But yeah. So that's fun. Yeah. Yeah, it was a really cool experience. It was actually my first fleet station was Okinawa. So straight after boot camp at MCT, I went to Okinawa as, or
Straight
sorry,
out
sorry,
here.
I had training in 29 Palms and training in Alabama, but my first fleet assignment was in Okinawa. So got to, but yeah, it was really cool. And, I got to, besides that island, I got to deploy around. I spent some time in Korea, Iwo Jima. Um, Never went to like Australia or Thailand. There were some other things that came up there, but it was good to explore around and see some of the Asian cultures, and obviously all the history and everything. So
Yeah,
yeah,
we love it
how long
here. We
have
don't
you
ever
been
want to leave. So this is our second tour. We were
there? Okay,
here back in 2013 for
okay,
3 years because
okay,
my son was born here, and then we were in Lejeune for 7 years.
okay.
And we're coming up on my husband's Twilight tour, so we requested to come back one more time because
Okay. Well,
like
great. Yeah,
this is where I belong. Like
yeah,
I love it here.
yeah. It's an amazing place, and all the culture and the people, and
The food
the food is great. Everybody's welcoming, and
is so
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Everyone's so nice here. It's such a
Mhm.
change of pace.
Yeah, if you
Such
get
a
to know the
change of
people, they're
pace.
nice. I mean, they're certainly, the time I was there were protests. I mean, I can't blame them. They have like an elementary school right behind the flight line. I'm like, yeah, I would probably protest as well. So,
Yeah.
but
Um, they're so respectful in their protesting too, though. Like everything is so
yeah,
like respectful towards each other.
oh,
And
certainly.
we have neighbors down the road. We live out in town,
Okay,
and we have neighbors who are the sweetest humans, and we're in a gift giving war with them because they gave us like a welcoming gift. So like we reciprocated like every 2 weeks we're exchanging gifts because now like it's just like
okay,
that's what you have to do because
yeah,
you're being polite, and it's
yep,
so much fun.
certainly, yeah. It's neat.
Uh,
And yeah, the culture travels so much too. I remember like pretty much every home I went into, there was a picture of the family standing in front of like Big Ben and the Eiffel Tower and Stonehenge and Disney World and Statue of Liberty. Like it was just like the same picture, same family, just kind of lined up on the mantelpiece, and it's really. I'm not sure why the Japanese culture is like so much more exploratory and tourism based, but it certainly seems to be a big proponent of their culture.
yeah, they're it's amazing.
Yeah,
Um, so what are you working on anything exciting these days? Like what's
I mean, always
what's
writing, right?
going
We
on
never
for
stop
you?
writing. Yeah, never stop on
Never.
the next project. So yeah, so my first novel, my debut, The Cardinal Line, is out everywhere. It's been out just about a year now, just a little over a year. So that's been really fun just to have that out there. And I've done you know like trying to engage in different mediums. So a lot of social media, of course, because that's the easiest and most accessible. But I've done a lot of in-person signing events at like author festivals and book fairs, but also like curated things at like breweries and wineries. They seem pretty receptive. Like, yeah, I'm sure set up a table in the corner and sell some
That's
books. So
that
I've done
sounds
a few of
cool.
those. So
Do you like those?
I always enjoy those. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the more you sell, the more you remember. The like the more the more pleasurable it is, the more you sell. But it's also just great to meet people and talk to readers, and people always have good questions and everything. So yeah, so that's been fun. Just last week, I think it was, I had a local book club. I like it was kind of like a book club in the wild. I didn't know them, but us one woman had I talked to one of the women at a signing event back in the summer. This is like 6 months ago, and she said, "Hey, like we chose the Cardinal line for our book club for December." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool, great." It's like, "Would you mind coming over?" I'm like, "Sure." So I just showed up, unknown. Like knocked on the door. I'm like, I think this is the right house, and like, house full of strangers. But it was a really good
Could have been
experience.
this.
It was a there's like different types of book clubs that some are more social, some are but like this is like a really focused book club where they it was like strict as far as like okay, well, like do the potluck thing and the socializing. Then okay, we hit this time, everyone's going to move into the living room and sit down and talk about the book and reading in general and everything. So it was really good to have that, and like everybody had read the book, which I know is not like a thing that always happens in book clubs. um,
Yeah,
so and they all had like a really good insightful questions, and about the process, about the story itself, kind of what I'm working on next. And uh, so um so that was really fun. I kind of went in like I don't know any people. I'm just like walking into a stranger's living room, and like, but it was pretty cool
that's
to
so wild.
yeah, like that was like you know like gave me some sort of validation, based on their feedback, because they all liked the book and said like other people that said the homeowner said like I typically like DNF like 90% of the books I pick up, but like I stuck with like I read yours and I couldn't put it down. Like, well, that means a lot, So um,
That's
that was a really cool experience. So doing a type of stuff like that. But back to your question. So I've got my second book, which is another thriller. The Cardinal Line is a thriller, more of a scientific based thriller, not sci-fi, but like scientifically plausible thriller. Um,
I love
it,
that. It's on my
it,
list. I
yeah.
mean, I have like 1,000 lists, but
Thanks, appreciate it.
it's
Yeah.
on my indie list.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. It's a fun one, I think. So, and then my second one is also a thriller that's out to beta readers right now. So I've gotten about half my beta readers have gotten back. I figure by the end of the year, I'll kind of cut it off. If they haven't gotten back, then I've got enough feedback now that I can kind of go and run with that. So
How
that's
many
what I'm
beta
going to
readers do you have?
I started with like 9, and it moved up to like 12 or 13. So
That's a lot.
family and friends,
Oh,
or like a few people that I've met through through TikTok and other things like that. So um, yeah, so getting feedback from them, and I've gotten response from about half of them. Then I'll um, work on.
that's
I've
accurate.
got my cover artist lined up for January, and then so like mid spring, assuming I don't get any hits from the literary agencies that I send out queries to. So
That's exciting because you
yeah,
indie published the first one, correct?
yep, yeah, I did, yep,
And
yep.
so you're going, well, fishing trad pub for the next one.
Yeah. Like I'm not really too concerned about like which
It
way it
doesn't
goes,
hurt to
but
try.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like I'll try, but and honestly, a lot of the trad pub, um, you know, they like the success stories for trad pub, even for like new authors, is not not that great. It can certainly help because it opens doors and everything, but there's a lot of success stories within the indie world too. So at this point, yeah, I'm just I like to write stories and share my ideas and talk to people and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm not trying to make it a career at this point, but I'll just keep going and see what happens.
What where do you get your ideas? Like where do you get your inspiration from?
um, yeah, it's just kind of all over. Just so my background, kind of what I've done. I'm an electrical engineer by degree, so like I've always been interested in like science and history too. My second book is more history focused instead of science focused. It's still like a modern day thriller, fast paced, but it's got ties to some real world history in it. So,
That's
but I,
cool.
yeah, my ideas. I mean, I'm very much a pantser, so my ideas. I'll
Yes.
have like a
Same.
like the gem of an idea, and I'll start writing, and then things will come, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that like something will click. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna run with that. So I, typically spend a few months kind of like churning through ideas in my head, and kind of like getting the basic outline before I will start. Start drafting the first few chapters and then kind of see where it goes from there. But like, I typically have, so with the Cardinal line, I didn't really know how it would end until, I'd gotten to the end of the first draft. For my second book, I had like some final scenes in mind. I just had to figure out how to get there. So
Yeah, that's I'm a pantser and I have like a couple major points and I usually know how the book is going to end. I just have to
yeah,
dig through
yeah,
like
yeah.
the weeds to figure out how we get there.
Yeah, and all of your books are in the same world. You've got like the Assassin series. So I think you're at 4 books now. Are you going to continue that, or do you see yourself trying something new um,
Um
later on?
I've I have to finish this story, which it was
Yeah.
originally like a standalone with a like potential because that's how I was going to agencies with it.
Mhm.
And then I was like, I'm gonna and a whole thing about how I was indie publishing, but
Yeah.
I did one, and everyone's like, "Where's the next one?" And I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So I wrote the next one, and halfway through that one, I figured out the plot line for book 3. Halfway through that one, I figured out the plot line for book 4. Um, I figured out the ending of the books, which like I didn't know where it was going, so I
Yeah.
didn't have a plan.
Yeah.
I have 6 books planned, maybe 7, depending on
Okay.
how long the last one arcs.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. There's so much in that world now that I
Oh
can
yeah.
shoot off
Oh,
in any direction, but
oh
I do
sure. Yeah.
have like some fantasy thriller action that I want to
Okay.
write one day. But
Yeah.
Legacy's held me by the throat for like 10, 12 years now.
Wow. Yeah.
So I'm not going anywhere with it. Like
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
it, like we're
Oh,
there.
certainly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
you do
great.
electric you said electric engineering?
So my degree is electrical engineering. I haven't really done that type of work for a while. That's my day job. I work for a pharmaceutical distribution company. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's a job. I have gotten to the point in my career where I'm doing more people engineering than electrical engineering. So yeah,
I
so
mean,
I'm
it's just as
managing.
important.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what brought me from the East Coast to the West Coast. I was living in New York for 16, 17 years, and then I'm living in Washington State now, and I work from home, but oversee 10 sites up and down the West Coast, from Seattle to Phoenix to LA to Honolulu, and kind of in that area. So I travel about 1 week a month or so. So traveling is
That's
actually
not bad.
yeah, yeah, that's not bad. Traveling is actually good for writing because I get like time in the airports and on airplanes and in hotel rooms, and so I like find myself with more just downtime when I'm traveling. So that I've definitely tried to take advantage of that.
That's really cool. So the first one's a science thriller. The next one's a hit. So you've done a lot of research for these. Like, is there anything I'm curious? Like, have you done research or have any experiences that you've put into the book at all?
Um, yeah, certainly, yeah. So like with the Cardinal line plug, gotta get it in focus here.
There.
um, yeah, there we are. Okay. um, I've just been interested in a lot of things. So there's kind of two scientific principles that I kind of take and run with. One is epigenetic inheritance, which is the concept that our gene expression can be passed down through generations and not just our hard coded DNA. And that's a fairly new concept that I like read about probably 10, 12 years ago.
What does that mean? Like what
It's
is
so like as we live and experience and go through things in our life, the way our genes are expressed can change. They do change based on input from the world and diet and exposure and all sorts of stuff. That changes
is
how.
that like is that like I've read somewhere that like if you had an ancestor who drowned, especially like a woman, because like your eggs are inside, like the
Yeah,
DNA is inside like two generations back already. Um, like if you drown, like someone drowns or almost drowns, like that fear is passed down. Is that like
yeah,
the same thing?
that's a great example. That's exactly what the type of thing. So it
Oh,
can
that's
affect
amazing.
affect people down the line. So like not just what's in the DNA itself, but experience that we have can be passed down through generations. So yeah, exactly like that. And so I read about that a while ago, and I thought that'd be a cool way to kind of turn that into a story and have that be the backbone of a story. Um, and then I've always been interested in electricity and the electromagnetic spectrum, which is part of what we see. Like the sliver of light waves that we can actually see as humans is very small. Then you get microwaves and infrared if you go in different directions, and then it gets into other types of waves. But like animals can see. Some animals can see in like different wavelengths, and even humans there's a variance there. So I was thinking like if humans could see just a little bit higher into the infrared spectrum, how would that manifest itself? How would that play? Um, and so I kind of have the story without giving away too much of the story. I mean, most of what I said is kind of brought up within the first few chapters, so it's not much of a spoiler. But kind of using those two concepts to drive like a fast-paced story that's also like character-based and driven by the character arcs within the story and how they grow. But it's yeah, kind of using those and with infrared, I did a eighth grade science projects. This is going back quite a ways, but I did that on infrared, and I was all that always stuck with me. I had a big chart of the whole electromagnetic
Yeah,
spectrum, and I had like clips of the Predator movie when he's like seeing in the infrared spectrum, which is colorized and not realistic, but it's still fun to put Predator on in your eighth grade science fair project, and sort of showing how you know like infrared cameras and sensors are if you have the old school motion sensors that you might have like in front of your house that would turn the light on, they're not picking up movement, they're picking up changes in heat patterns because it's actually picking up changes in the infrared pattern. So
I
what I
did not
did
know
for
that.
my so so what I did for my science fair as like part of the project on the table is I had one of those cameras and I had a light bulb that I could turn off like outside of the camera scope, and I could show as soon as I turned on the light bulb, it would trigger the camera, even though there was no movement because there was a change in heat. Um, like I think like that have always fascinated me. So I'm like I can take a bunch of the random knowledge that I've accumulated over the years and just kind of put it into a story that works. So um,
That's that is amazing. I just learned so much in this short amount of time. I had no idea that's how those
yeah.
worked.
That's one thing that during the book club that I went to, a lot of the women were like, there are like several things in the book here that you brought up. Like I had to stop and look that up because like that can't be right. And then they looked it up like, oh wait, that's right. Wow. So
Does that mean that like if you had like a blanket that like concealed your heat, you could walk by the sensor and it wouldn't go off?
if the blanket was the same temperature as the atmospheric air, yes, yeah. It depends on how
That's
sensitive it is,
really
but yeah, yeah,
that's really interesting. So when I was a kid, we had a motion sensor
yeah,
um in our like dining room.
yeah.
And because I was the youngest child and I had no siblings at home, I would try to like barely move on the
Okay, yeah.
floor to see if I could not set it off. I guess it didn't matter because it was wasn't
Well,
really motion centered.
it depends on the sensitivity. I mean, I guess if you move slowly enough and the camera wasn't very sensitive, then as long as it didn't,
Yeah.
you're not warming up the carpet around you, your body heat. If it was like close to the same temperature as everything else around it, it might not show up. But
No, it showed up all the time. I'd never
okay,
understood it.
yeah. Well, unless the house was at 98.6 degrees, it probably would show up. So
Oh, and that's another good point. It depends on the temperature of the.
mhm.
Wow. Anyways, now that
Yeah,
I've
yeah. So,
been
so
thoroughly educated,
next time you
that's
are trying to do that, just turn up the heat to 98 degrees, and everyone will wonder why the house is so hot. It's like so I can sneak
but
around
I
without
will
shutting
not
up.
set off the motion sensor.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's crazy. So that's for book one, the research. How about this next book that you did?
Yeah.
What kind of research did you do for that?
That was kind of a crazy research project. So I read Lord of the Flies.
Okay.
I read Alice in Wonderland.
Okay.
I and I read two books on Native American history in like the Midwest, like slightly after the French and English War and after the War of 1812, like in that time period about like Native American history. So yeah, it's my research was pretty bonkers for this, but there's reasons for those.
That's awesome.
Um,
That's I'm excited to see where you go with that.
yeah.
Lord of the
So
Flies and Alice in Wonderland.
yeah, a part. So yeah, the specific reasons that I reread it because I'd like I read both of those, but before and in the past at some point. But the specific reasons that I reread those two, like for like some of the themes that they have in each one, and then with the Native American history that ties into a real life historical character that kind of plays a part in the modern day story. Um, that it so so the whole book takes place in a small town in the Midwest in modern day, and they're facing an identity crisis because they realize that their town was named after an atrocious historical figure, which was real, um, and so they propose um, the main POV character, the main protagonist, is the council president for this small town. He proposes changing the name, and so it becomes a thing about identity and culture and all this stuff. And there's like different factions that form the town. At the same time, he's like he's uncovering. He like realizes that there's more than just that because there's like divisions and threats turn to violence type of thing. And then he realizes there's other secrets, new secrets and old secrets in town that are kind of coming to the surface. And there's like these sinister clubs that have been happening throughout the town that he wasn't really aware of. So it switches between POV between that protagonist, and then the other one is a young woman who's just come back from college and is acting as the town treasurer, but like she has her own secrets and she's like trying to um, manipulate a way that she can get enough funds to leave town because she's like I don't want to be in this shitty little town type of thing. But it catches up with her and then she's in a lot of trouble, so she's trying to get out of trouble at the same time that both of them are trying to figure out why the town's going crazy. And
I
then it
love it.
all kind of blows up. So
That sounds so interesting.
yeah, thanks. Yeah. It's kind of like I um, I try to I don't really know where I'm going with books. I have to like have it stew for a little while to kind of get the gist of it, kind of get the flavor of what I want to write. I definitely like writing the fast paced thrillers. The Cardinal Line takes place in about a week and a half. My next book takes place in 8 days.
Yeah,
So it's like a lot happening. Like the fast paced, you've got the clock, you've got the everything, um, and but I I'm not really looking at something like oh, I'll take an aspect of this story and aspect of this story. That's a lot of authors do, which is common, and it's great. It often works out really well. But they'll take something like it's like like Star Wars meets Princess Bride or something. I'm just making up a couple things, but they'll say something like that, right? As
Hmm.
like and like that's clearly their motivation, and they try to blend that, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But
Sometimes, yeah.
I try to have something that is not clearly which probably doesn't help with because then I go and look for
It's
comps. I'm like I don't have any comps. Like I don't know. There's nothing out there. So
yeah. I
it
did
probably bites me a little
not.
bit because I don't have like the clear like it takes too long to explain what it's about. Kind of. I mean I
Yeah.
can boil it down, but if I boil it down, like 'cause that's
You
always a conundrum
should
when you're trying to boil it down too much.
Yeah, you should ask your beta readers or like your readers what they peg it as because I
Yeah,
could not think of anything for mine.
yeah,
I was like, I don't
that's
know,
a
I
good
don't know.
idea.
And then
Yeah,
Dietrich was like, it's John Wick meets The Godfather. I was like, oh,
yeah, sure, yeah,
okay,
yeah, right,
that's the vibes. Okay, with
yeah,
like but women.
right,
John Wick
right,
meets the God, but women.
yeah.
um,
Very women focused. I mean, you got
yeah,
men characters too, but yeah,
they're not as important. Well, one of them is.
okay,
The rest of them don't matter. Um, and so yeah, I did not know. I had a hard time pitching my stuff because I was like, I don't. It's
yeah,
not a normal
right,
like assassin story where they're born assassins and then they're trying to destroy the company that made them. Like they love to be assassins and they're trying to
right,
stop it from being destroyed. Like it's a
right,
totally different
right.
take. So I know what you mean. But yeah, ask your readers because your readers will know better than you will
That's
to
a
be able
good
to
idea.
pitch
Yeah,
it.
I didn't really pose that specific question when I sent out like my beta reader instructions. So yeah, that's a good thought.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I did the same thing. I was like, I don't know. And like 2 years in, Dietrich's like, Libby, this is what it's about. I was like, oh, thank
yeah,
you.
yeah,
I
yeah,
appreciate it.
nice.
Um, I had a question. Oh, POVs. So is Cardinal Line one POV?
Two,
Two. Do you like
two.
writing in two POV?
That's what I've done for my first two. I'll have to, and I do like that because it's like a too limited POV. So it's and I like to, because it's fast paced and I'm all about cutting the fat. Um, looking at specifically, what is that character doing at that moment, that's
Mm-hmm.
relevant to the story. And then so there'll be other things that I could find a way to bring in and explain, but it's not like not relevant
Doesn't
to the
matter.
story. So I do like that, especially if they start separate and then they connect at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Those are always fun.
yeah, yeah. So like with the Cardinal Line, the two POVs they start separate. They don't even know each other, and then they connect partway through with the my second book. It's called Name Town. My second book is called Name Town. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, um, they know each other, and it's clear from the first chapter that they know each other, but they don't connect until about a third to a half of the way through the book. Um,
I like that
uh,
setup.
yeah, so it like it gives some flexibility, but it also kind of keeps it taut in that you're just looking at those two limited POVs and you're not jumping around, but you know so that's kind of what I've enjoyed so far. In the Cardinal Line, there's a like a 3 chapter like flashback POV to somebody else, but it's pretty much just those two. Toward
Yeah.
the end, there's a flashback to kind of help explain history type stuff. But yeah, it's just those two, and the second book is just those two. So it goes
Just those two.
yeah. And the first draft it was like a 1 for 1, and then after I got the second draft, I'm like I can't have that. Like it was just like trying to like cram it in at certain points, and it so I have like like a 2 with 1, then 1, then 2, depending on what was
It's whatever
happening.
the story needs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep. So
Yeah. I've got 2 point of views in the first one and 3 in the second
right.
and the third.
Yep.
And then
That's right. That's
I
right.
don't
Yeah.
know
Yeah. So I
how
read the
many
first
in there.
one, but that was like earlier in the spring, and I probably read about 40 plus books since then. So
Yeah.
I think yours was one of the first ones for my Goodreads year for 2024. So I'd have
Thank you.
I'd have to go and get a refresher before I go back and start with the next ones.
The next ones go really quickly. The first book is like maybe 6 months, and I hop a little
Okay.
bit.
Yeah.
Book two takes place in less than a week. Book
Yeah,
three
okay.
takes place in less than a
Well,
week.
okay. Fun.
And
Fun. Yeah.
there's a ton of carnage and so much happens.
Yeah.
And I actually like that pacing way better.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the go. Book four
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
hard because I'm trying to cram 20 years worth of story into because it's
Right.
a prequel.
Yeah.
It's a lot,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
But yeah, that's part of what people expect if the book is called a thriller. That's kind of what they expect in
it
this
should
fast
be
paced.
like
Yeah.
let's go.
But there's also
Uh,
plenty of thrillers I've read that span years and decades too. So it's really how you present it.
yeah, I like the like we're gonna have a week to see who survives, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Yeah.
that's like this week in the Assassin's Legacy.
Yeah. Yeah.
X amount of people are dead. Good luck figuring out who. Uh,
Yeah.
so
Um,
that's exciting.
yeah.
I'm going to. So I have a Patreon, and
Hmm.
I'm doing indie author giveaways every single month. But I haven't been reading enough indie author. I actually haven't been reading enough at all. Like I just don't have time.
Been
So
busy.
I'm
Yeah.
compiling the list of books that I want to read for 2025 to put in my Patreon. Um, and Cardinal Line is definitely on there because I love fast-paced thrillers. Like those are
Awesome.
my
Awesome. Thank
favorite.
you. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
How the Oki Teen Readers go, or is it still ongoing? You probably
Oh,
haven't really done that yet, right? Because it's
it
um,
just it just wrapped up. I have to
oh
do a
yeah, okay,
post on it.
okay, wow,
Thanks for asking about it. Yeah,
yeah,
I started a new job this week, so I
yeah.
was subbing,
Okay,
and then I applied for the secretary position, and I got it.
oh
And
great,
I went from working every other day to working every single day,
okay,
and
that's
I'm
a shock.
tired, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
that's a
not
shock.
been on social media at all. Like I jump on, like I literally did a post like I'm alive, keep me in the algorithm.
Yeah,
I'm going now. like
yeah, fair
so
enough.
I have
Yeah,
to do an update this weekend. The
yeah,
kids loved it. We didn't get any videos because I had started the new position,
okay,
and so I couldn't be where they were. And the librarian was like, "I forgot to take videos," but the kids were so excited. They were like, they had them at like back at the library, and she's like, "All right, you guys can go get your books," and they like rushed. Like
yeah, that's
ran to take that. She's
amazing.
like, I
Wow,
forgot to take a video, but it was so cool. I was like,
that's
that's okay.
amazing. That's amazing. Wow. Yeah,
And
yeah,
we had books left over, so we can do another one in the spring,
okay,
or I think we're gonna do another one in the spring. We have a couple books we're gonna do for like prizes, and then I'm gonna give some to the middle school here as well
okay.
because we have enough that the middle school can
And
have some of them.
and this is at the international school, or
No, the school's on base.
oh yeah, okay, okay, right,
Yeah, I'm spreading them out through the schools on
yeah,
base for the
yeah.
high schools, and they
That's
were so
amazing.
excited.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure they. I hope they all appreciate what you've done there.
Yeah, they were super excited. I had kids coming up and they were like, "Thank you so much," like crying. I'm like,
Oh wow, wow,
"You're
that's amazing.
welcome."
Oh wow.
I would take videos, but I feel weird taking videos of other people's children.
Yeah, yeah. You just have to ask permission. It's okay.
yeah. Um, so yeah, it went really well.
Yeah.
Um, I had a question to ask you, and I can't remember what it was.
Sorry,
Hold
sorry.
on.
I threw you off track.
No, it's good. That's the whole point is going off track. Um, what's your biggest goal right now? That's what I wanted to ask you. Like
Within the author world, I don't really.
in life, what's your biggest goal
In
in life? Yeah.
I'm really not much of a goal person, to be honest. Like I don't look ahead and say this is what I want to be in 5 years. Like I'm pretty content right now, and I've got a solid job. Really happy with family. We're just last year we moved into a much nicer, newer, bigger home than we had back in New York. So that kind of helped, and we're exploring and making friends and everything. I mean, we're and like with the author community, just like meeting people selling books, obviously is a big part of that. But I don't I'm really not a goal person. I just kind of move towards what I want, at the time that it's right to do that, but I don't like, put something on the calendar and kind of make a list. It's just anytime I've tried that, it just doesn't work, and then I feel bad for not having met it, or
That's fair.
or I meet it and then I'm like, was that really worth the effort? So
I I am I get that. I don't know if it's like a neuro spicy thing or whatever, but I'm like, I'm like, this is what I want to do. I get there. I'm like, okay, I'm done. What's next?
yeah,
Like,
and
there's
that's
no, so
normal.
like,
Yeah, that's not. It's good to strive for something, but like I don't,
I
unless it's
don't,
like something I'm active, like in school, like yes, my goal is to graduate. That's clear. Fine. As I'm writing a book,
yeah,
I want to finish the book and I get it published. Yeah, that's clear. So I've got like those goals, but I'm like not setting timelines. I'm just kind of seeing where life takes me,
I
I
like
guess.
that. Go with the flow.
Yeah.
I think I like that approach as well because when I set a goal, I don't like, it's almost like I don't like to be sidetracked from it. And then I get so pigeonholed, I
Mhm.
miss out on other opportunities because
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I have to get this goal.
Sure.
Like, no, I don't have to get that goal. I just have to
Yeah.
do what I'm doing and hopefully I get there one day.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. And that's a big part of our culture where everyone, you should have a 5-year plan. You should have this and that. You should have a schedule of
Dude,
when you want to get to
the,
some point by like
I
the,
think everyone
the
should have to
time.
be in the military or be a military spouse. You can't have a 5-year plan. I don't have
No.
a 5-month plan. I don't have a 5-day plan.
Yeah.
Like, we have no idea what's going to happen
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. Certainly. Yeah. And just like being in the moment and adapting to what comes. That's what we all
Yeah,
have to
it's
do anyway.
so useful. Yeah.
Hmm.
Like, my husband retires in 3 years, three
Yeah,
and a
okay.
half years.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
And everyone's like, so where are you going? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what the job opportunities are going to look like. I don't know what the political state's going to look like when we get back to the States. They're like, where are
Yeah.
you moving to? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, how do you not know? I'm like,
Where are your families based or from?
um, New York and Connecticut.
Okay.
But we really did like North Carolina. We were
Okay.
there for 7 years
Yeah.
and we enjoyed it.
Sure.
It was close enough to family that we can do visits and far enough away no one could stop in over like
Yep.
on the fly.
Yep.
So it was perfect.
Yeah.
Um,
Good. Good.
but I would really like to just stay in Okie. I don't ever want to go back to the
Yeah.
States.
Well, it's certainly that opportunity too. So
Hopefully.
yeah.
I think we have to go back. Yeah, we're gonna have to go back
Right.
so we can apply for the jobs to come back out because the
Probably.
way
Probably.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
the way the system works is if you're hired locally, they don't give you a housing allowance, which once he retires, we won't have a housing allowance. And so the
Right. Right.
paycheck's like not enough to stay. Um,
Yeah.
so we have to go back and apply so they can give us
Yeah.
housing because technically then we're overseas. But I'm like,
Right.
you're gonna spend like probably close to like $80,000 to ship us back and
Sure.
set us
Yeah.
up and then ship us back again.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Can't you just like change the paperwork?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the government. It's not about efficiency. It's about
Oh,
yeah. Like
the chess moves and the pawns and
yeah.
the
Yeah. Um,
such a waste of
my
money.
yeah. My last permanent duty station was Zimbabwe, and
Oh, that's freaking cool.
I was in MSG. Yeah, Marine
I'm
Security Guard.
jealous. We
So
wanted to do that.
yeah,
How was that?
it's a really cool program. So in fact, I never had any stateside fleet time. Like I said, my first fleet time was in Oki. So I was
Yep.
there for 2 years. And then I joined MSG from Okinawa. So I went back to Quantico for training. And then my first duty station was Copenhagen, Denmark. And then my next one was Harare, Zimbabwe. Uh, and then from each of those places, I got to like other support missions or deployment or just like taking leave and traveling. So I got to like see a lot of Europe and a lot of Africa. Like it was a really like with MSG, it's an entirely different world.
Yeah.
Depending on where you are, but most embassies, like there's no military presence at all. There's like
Hmm.
five watchstanders and then one staff NCO as the detachment commander. All the watch standards are E4, E5, and then like one E6 or E7, typically E6, as the deck commander. And like that's the entire U.S. military presence in the whole country. So it's a lot easier to get ingrained into the society and do things. It's not like Gate 2 Street where it's got to be a bunch of drunk Americans, right? so um, that was a really cool experience. I mean, the schedule sucked, but it was good training, and you basically live like a State Department diplomat. You get cooks and maids and drivers, and
We did not get to do that.
it's a pretty good gig, and it really varies by where you are. But the two places I went were great. Like Copenhagen is kind of if there's an unofficial list of like the best places to be, that's right up there. So I was really fortunate to. I don't know how I got it, but I got it somehow. Like luck of the draw, whatever. Um, like being in Northern Europe and just traveling around and seeing that culture, and there's just so much opportunity there. And then they give you cola to compensate for the higher cost of living and everything like that. So um, it was really cool, and it was relatively safe. I mean, like at the time, there were people protesting the Iraq War, but at most you get somebody throwing eggs at the embassy. So like we're all standing there,
Yeah.
fully locked and loaded, and like I'm not going to react to somebody throwing an egg, So
Yeah.
and so I was there for about a year and a half, and then the second duty station was Ferrari, Zimbabwe, which is also really really cool. I mean, obviously entirely different culture, but it's a beautiful country. So much to see. It's like a National Geographic special with all the animals that are just around it. And we did some travel and like some camping up where we're like camping in the middle, and there's like water buffalo and lion and hippos and like all these animals, monkeys, like all these like I said, like a National Geographic special with all the creatures you could see, and travel around to like Victoria Falls, which is a great destination, then down to like South Africa, Cape Town, which is just a gorgeous city. So a lot of really cool stuff to do, and just like seeing that different culture. Um,
Hmm.
was great. But my last duty station was from Zimbabwe, so I got my household goods shipment, so I got like 7,000 pounds worth of free shipment back to the states. So like we got like these like really nice like teak dining set, like all this furniture. Like all this like stone carved artwork and stuff like that. We just like loaded up, like yep, take it. So for free shipping back. Well, I mean taxpayer
Yeah.
funded, but whatever. But um, so yeah, that was a great experience, and I was only in 6 years total. I didn't want to make a career out of it, and try to raise a family, and I know how difficult that is. As you said, not knowing where you're going to be, and having the kids go to new schools, and try to make new friends, and that's
It's
super hard. I've got nothing but respect for the families that went through that, but I wasn't gonna willingly travel that travel that route. I had never
mhm.
really intended to make a career out of it. So
Yeah. It's not an easy choice,
yeah.
but so far it's been rewarding
Mhm.
on the rewarding side. There's definitely challenges. Um, like job wise, it's challenging because I can't actually put down roots to
Right.
have a steady
Yeah.
career, which is why writing was so appealing because I'm like, I
Oh
can
yeah.
do that
Absolutely.
anywhere.
Exactly.
Um,
Yep. Yep.
so now I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for them to take off so that can be. I want to make enough to have it be like a part time job,
Yeah.
um,
Mhm.
like just a supplement income part time job that helps cover the kids' expenses for all their fun activities.
Yep.
If I made more, that'd be great. But
Yep. Yeah.
that's
Certainly.
my goal is
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
just
Yeah. That's a great goal to have, and I'm certain you can get there. I if I were there where it's actually have income enough to call it a part time job, I would
right.
like try to share some advice, but I'm not there yet, so I'm not going to share advice because I haven't figured it
One
out yet.
day on Libby's Lounge, we'll talk about how indie author
Yeah.
it's it's hard to be successful, and have but that's like it's a lot of it's luck. I feel like it's hard
Oh,
work,
oh, certainly.
But some of it is just straight up, you hit the lottery with
That's
a couple of things lining up.
Yep, that's absolutely it. Yep.
Yeah.
You just get the query or the manuscript into the right person's hands at the right time,
Yep.
or you
Or
got some
like,
sort of connection.
yep. Or the right person read it on whatever
Yep.
social media and they're
Yep.
like, everyone should read this. Like,
Yep.
it's
Yep. So yeah. That's the dream is
a
to wake up
gamble.
and like check your KDP reads and say, "Whoa, what happened?" So,
That's so exciting.
yeah.
I don't check mine very often. Do you
Yeah.
check yours a lot?
I kind of didn't for a while. Then I got like some more traction, so I was checking it more often. But now it's like falling off again. Like I don't know. I check it too much, but
I check like twice a month.
okay, that's good.
That's it.
Yeah, that's healthy.
It it is, but then like I'm not actually tracking anything to see like what posts. Like some people are very meticulous. Like I
Oh
did
yeah,
these posts, like
yeah.
did these have I'm like
I don't have the time or
I'm not
energy for that. No.
I'm still trying to I'm writing the books. I don't have time to do
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
else.
yeah. And you have a family. You've got everything else going on. You have to
Yeah,
have
full-time job and
time for yourself. You know,
kids.
time for self care, and yeah, you just need
That's the 20 minutes you get in the shower by yourself.
yeah.
You know what I picked up recently? Actually, a student gave it to me. It's a Write in the Rain notebook.
Okay, oh,
And
nice.
so do you know what that is?
It's waterproof.
Yeah, it's like the pages are special. I don't know. They sell
Yeah,
them for the Marines at the
yeah.
place they sell things for the Marines, the uniform shop here. Um, they might sell them at the PX too. But yeah, so my husband bought me like the Write in the Rain pen, although you can also use pencil on it. I just found out, which was
Yeah,
probably way less expensive.
yeah.
But I was like, I can write in the shower now.
Okay, yeah. That's good. Yeah, I always get ideas in the shower. Like that's one
Always.
thing that I've always had. Like I have actually most of my like ideas are when I'm running. So I'll like run. I mean, there's been many times like or like in the winter if I'm snowshoeing or biking or something. Like I'll have my phone on me and just like stop and like do some voice memos and then carry on because like I'll have like things will click or if I'm at some like some sort of writer's block situation. I usually have my breakthroughs when I'm running. And it's not like the first or third mile. It's like mile like 5 or 6 when I'm like tired. And like oh so I definitely use running as I mean it solves a lot of problems I think.
That's yeah, driving. Driving does that for me.
Yep.
Like I'll be
Yeah,
driving
same thing.
and
Oh yeah.
it's just my think tank.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
the shower,
Hmm.
washing dishes. I
Okay.
get a lot of good ideas when I'm washing dishes.
Okay. Okay.
And I text myself. I have a
Yeah.
chat with just myself that I'll
Yeah.
text myself ideas so I can find them later.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll use a notepad and just thumb out some notes, or I'll just use voice memo. And then every few weeks, I have to go back and kind of go through all of them and try to transfer them over to whatever writing app
I need
I
to
use.
do that.
What writing app do you use? Because
I use a couple. So I use Scrivener because I've had it for years, although I have not used it at all this year.
okay.
For the words, it's like an online writing app.
Oh, okay.
It's like a game. If you like game like reward systems, you basically
Hmm.
can fight monsters. Like
Okay.
you're writing and you have to write so many words in so many minutes. And then
Well,
you
neat.
defeat the
Okay.
monster. And then you
Okay.
have like a little avatar and you can go take them on the map and like get prizes and dress them up. And I don't know.
Yeah, fun.
I like it personally, not for the all of that. Um, when I try, I don't. I try not to track words because I hate track. Well, I've hated tracking words because when you like write a Word document, you get to the end, it's like you've been writing for 4 hours and it says you have 500 words, but you've like rewritten and changed things and deleted
Sure.
things that didn't work. I'm like, I
Right.
did not write just 500 words. It's so
Yeah.
discouraging.
Yeah.
For the words, tracks every word you've written. So
Oh,
even
okay.
if you've deleted it, it still
Oh, wow.
counts it.
Okay.
And I like that because I'm like, those words were valid. I wrote them.
Yeah.
So that's why I like it because it tracks
Yeah.
even my deleted words. And it makes me
Oh,
feel
neat.
better at the
Neat.
end of a writing session where it's like, you've written 4,000 words. And then in the document itself, it's like you have, 2,000 polished words.
Okay.
Makes me feel better about myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's good to
that,
have
and then
have that that feedback. So
Beta books. Have you heard of beta books? I don't know if they're
mm,
going to be around much longer,
no.
but it's like a website where you can get beta readers. So they have a pool of beta readers, or you can send it out, but it tracks where people. So your beta readers can leave comments,
Okay. Oh wow.
emojis, suggestions. You can have a questionnaire for them right in there,
Okay.
but it tracks when they read. So I've had beta readers be like, "Oh yeah, I've started it." I'm like, "You haven't even opened it. I can see that you
Okay.
haven't even opened it yet."
Oh yeah.
So I like that because it
Okay.
like I'll have people who they're like, "Yeah, I'm like halfway through it." I'm like, "No, you're not."
Okay.
Like,
Interesting. Okay.
don't lie to me. I need the feedback. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Right.
but it's like a volunteer run website, and so they're
Ah,
having issues on the back end right now with like
gotcha.
updating stuff.
Gotcha. Ah,
But for right
interesting.
now, I absolutely love it. It's like $15 a month or something.
Okay.
It's not
Interesting.
terrible,
Yeah. Fun.
and all the feedbacks in one spot, all the comments.
Yeah.
Different. You
Sure.
can do different versions too. So
Okay.
then like you do edits and it will create a new version and it'll automatically forward people to the new version.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Super useful.
For
What do you
my
use?
well for beta, so I write first draft, second draft, whatever, in Living Writer. I don't know if you heard of that. It's a kind of like a Scrivener alternative, but it's pretty good. It's called Living Writer,
Living Writer.
and it's really good for especially when you have complex plots with characters and place settings and objects, and it's got a place to like set up like family trees and like
Oh,
in sort
that's
of
cool.
like notes and timelines, and then as you write for characters, it'll like highlight their names, and you can like click on their names. You can have notes and relationships and things like that. So it's really good for more complex plots, to keep track of different things. And like if you want to change someone's name, you change it once. It just like filters through the whole thing. Um,
That's super useful.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
that like a
So
subscription based?
yeah, it was. I think I paid the annual fee. It wasn't too bad. I'd have to go back and look what it was. I think it was like 150 for the year or something like that. It wasn't too bad.
I'm
Um,
gonna look into that.
yeah,
That's not terrible.
Living Writer was I use that pretty much exclusively for my first book. Now I've added Atticus also, because for my first book that was one of the I'll probably call it a learning experience where my cover designer also did like formatting and stuff, which
Hmm.
and like what she like charged her high professional rate for formatting, and it like ended up costing me a couple thousand more than I probably needed to spend, for
Jeez.
yeah for that, because it wasn't really editing. It was like a formatting for the ebook and everything. And like at the time being releasing for the first book, I didn't really know that part of it. So I'm like, okay, I'll just pay someone to do it, because like uh, she was really good with cover design, and she's done a bunch of stuff like, 'cause she's like fairly well established. She was somebody who went to school, a graphic designer who went to school with my brother, so I had some sort of connection with her.
Hmm.
But she's definitely at the higher end of the charge rate. But for this one, I got Atticus, which you can do formatting and everything in. So I'm going to do that myself. It's a couple $100 program, so it's going to save me a lot because I can just do it
It's
myself. Um,
yeah. I have
and
Vellum because I have a
yeah, okay,
Mac.
okay. I think it's pretty similar. Yep,
Hmm.
yep.
It
Um,
was
yeah,
like $400 or something. It's worth every penny
mm,
because I can then go in. Like I found typos in book one,
right. Yeah,
and I can literally go in and like fix them and re-upload because I own the
yeah,
program.
right. Yeah. That was the
So,
problem I ran into. This is that like I had like typos that I found that I had to like go back to her with the list of
mm.
typos and everything, and then wait for her
And
to
then you get charged again, and
get those get charged and send back. I'm like this is not working, but anyway, live and learn. But with that, it was cool for the beta readers though, because with that I could send out the EPUB doc also. So
hmm,
I sent it as a PDF. Like if you just want to print it out or read it on your tablet as a PDF, that's fine. Or if you want to get fancy, this is how you like upload the EPUB doc to your Kindle through like your specialized Kindle email. So it takes a couple steps, but like I think having that, you know, um, was kind of cool. Kind of like I gave it a bit more of an air of professionality, because
Hmm.
they could bring like my beta version into their Kindle and just read it there and highlight and everything. So it's
Do
kind of
they
fun too.
then just make notes for you and then they send you the notes in like an email?
Yeah, that's pretty much how it's worked. Yeah, yeah. There's a couple people who are local and they have like a scratch pad with notes. And I like sat in a room with them. Like, okay, like, give me the notes.
That's cool.
But besides that, everyone who's not local just has sent me emails with notes and stuff. So yeah. So
I like that. I
I
like
didn't.
getting the inline comments though. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
it
Okay.
brings
Yeah.
me joy when I see like the highlighted thing and like the
Yeah.
comments right next to it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Um,
Like
right. I got
feed
one.
me.
Um, I I got one or two like that with like from the PDF. So like on the PDF version, they added comments like
Oh,
wow, I
that's
really like
cool.
this sentence, or I'm confused about what this means. I didn't get the reference or something like that. So it's
Yeah,
nice to have that feedback. So
I like that. I haven't thought about sending them. Oh, that's not true because I definitely sent Dietrich an EPUB, but Dietrich's different. He's my critique partner, not my beta reader, so it's a little bit different. Um, man,
but
you were off TikTok for a little bit. Were
I
you off?
was, yeah, like over the summer I kind of took a break. Well, first, so
Because you refriended me, and I was like,
yeah,
I
so
didn't know we
I've got
weren't
two.
friends.
Yeah, I've got two TikTok accounts because my first one I got some weird violation for nothing that
Oh,
so my account was permanently banned from selling because I was using that and like I tried to appeal it, it didn't work. There was nothing that I did the video that they flagged was literally me flipping through my book with some quotes from the book and like that was it, which everybody does not like not
does.
everybody but it's like pretty common thing, and it got flagged, and then like it wasn't even like you have this many violation points that are going to fall off in 3 months or whatever. It's like this account is permanently banned from selling products. I'm like, well, that sucks because I was like, trying to engage. So like that kind of like threw me off TikTok for a while. And like during the summer, we're just traveling and stuff too. We're just doing other things. And I was working on my next book. I'm like, I'm just going to take a like social media break for a little while. So I eventually set up another account. I was able to link the new account to the old TikTok shop. So it still shows my orders and stuff like that. I don't know.
That's cool.
So I have the second one that I'm using pretty much just for as my commercial account for selling books. I just sold one earlier this morning, so I've got to wait for Amazon to deliver my printer ink because my printer, even though I'm just printing black and white, won't print unless I have full thing.
Um,
So
don't get stung. I don't even want to talk about printers. I hate that. Like,
so
I had to just buy a brand new printer because it was cheaper to buy a brand new printer than it was to buy the ink for the old printer.
it's
Like, that
insane.
doesn't
Yeah.
make any
No,
sense.
it's insane. Yeah. So I'm waiting for
So
Amazon
wasted.
to show up with the ink so that I can put the yellow ink in so that I can print
Black and
a
white.
USPS black and white label so that I can ship out the TikTok order that I got this morning. So
That
yeah.
because you need that yellow for the black and white.
Yes, it's important. Yeah,
I
which is part of the cardinal line. It's actually like has to do with like colors, there's a section in there that's like talking about the rods and cones that we have, like the three colors and stuff like that. I get a little sciencey in it, but it's like presented in a fun, approachable way. It's not like trying to get over anyone's head or anything like that. But um, I
yeah.
I'd forgotten that I'd had that in there because I published this almost a year ago, and like I haven't reread it or anything. So at the book fair that I was at last week, somebody brought that up. I'm like, was that in there? I mean, I'll take your word that it was in there, but I forgot that I wrote that.
That's funny.
Okay.
Yeah, I constantly reread my books. One for research purposes,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
two for canon
certainly.
because
Yeah,
it's a
certainly.
series, and
Yeah,
three just because I love the characters and I want to
yeah,
hang out with them more.
yeah. That's great.
But I
That's great.
forget what's in them. I have to
Yeah,
message like my niece. She's one of my main beta readers, and I have to message her and be like, "Did this happen in the book or did this happen in my head?" Because I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
remember.
And
Uh,
that's
it's
that's normal to have that, especially when you have a series. I remember reading in the acknowledgments section for one of the George R. R. Martin books. his like A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones. He's like, I want to thank like this team of researchers that I've hired to keep track of everybody for me to make sure I'm like they're
Yeah,
hiring people like to to like basically record the lore, have some sort of Bible there, that they use to reference all the different characters and the timelines and everything because it's
it's
very difficult.
hard.
Yeah,
I I started a book Bible and then I haven't finished it, but I really do need to. One,
yeah,
just because I think it'll be fun when the series is done for people to have the book Bible with
yeah,
all the
yeah,
lore.
certainly, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but I spent like 4 weeks working on a timeline because I have multiple timelines happening.
yeah,
And I'm like, I said it happened 4 years ago. Was that actually possible that it happened 4 years ago?
yeah, right.
It's like,
That's one good thing about living writer, is that you can kind of like make up your own timelines and have like flow charts and stuff like that.
I'm
So that
definitely checking it out because
certainly
that's been the
helps.
biggest. Like this prequel happens like 20 something years beforehand. And I am constantly checking my timeline to make sure it lines up with what I said as a throwaway line in the series
Sure,
already. Like some of it
sure.
was like, oh yeah, this happened then. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my God, does that actually work?
yeah,
Like,
right.
can I make that work? Man. Yeah. See, I don't feel so bad now when I find like typos or like small mistakes because like they have huge teams of people they pay to keep their lore and their everything on track and they still
Oh
have
yeah,
mistakes.
yeah. And I'm sure you've read plenty of traditionally published books that have clear
Yeah.
typos in them, and like like these are books that have gone through several people's eyes, all of whom are being paid, and they still get missed. So like typos are just a part of books.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
I
You've
give it
got
so much.
80,000 words. You got 100,000 words. Not every one of them is going to be perfect.
No, not at all. Although I do try to make it work and be perfect. And I do update my manuscript
Yeah,
every time I find one. I'll update. Well, when I find like more than one, I find like I have enough, I'll go in and I'll update the manuscript. Um,
yeah.
However, I did the audiobooks. And so once I do the audiobooks, I really can't update anything anymore because it's like set in stone now. Um,
You're right, right, yeah, yeah. I I don't have an audiobook out yet. I've got a friend back in New York who has not done audiobooks, but she's done like commercial stuff. And like a commercial audio voiceover. So she wanted to get an audiobook. So I said, hey, do the Cardinal Line. So she's working on that now. Um,
that's
but
exciting.
but she also has like family and stuff like that. So it's a little slower than we kind of had talked about initially, but that's fine. It'll be done when it's done. But we're like working through ACX. So like we're doing it officially through ACX, so that
Hmm.
it's like loaded in there, and she can build up her credentials. And then once it's there, then it'll be easy to transfer to Audible. So yeah, it's exciting, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like kind of in the background now for both of us. I'm like, okay, it'll be nice when it's out there, but I'm not like eager to get it out, right now. So it's just not going to work.
Yeah. I really wanted the audiobook out. One, because I love audiobooks, but two, because I wanted my family who doesn't read to hear the book. Um,
Okay, yeah, yep,
they
yep.
haven't listened to it. It's fine. It's only been 3 years.
It's
I call
it's
my sister out every time I get a
yeah,
chance to because I'm like,
it's
I did this audiobook for you. It cost me so much money. Actually,
it's
I did it for me, but
okay, yeah. I
I'm
mean,
being a jerk to her.
you're gonna have family and friends that just never read your stuff, and that's just is how it is.
Yeah, she told me she'll watch it on Netflix. I said,
Okay,
"Okay, I'll get
okay,
it
yeah.
there."
We'll wait for that then.
That's the next goal is to get it on Netflix so that you can enjoy it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I've
she
had
keeps me big goals.
yeah, yeah. I've had like a lot of people with the Cardinal line said like I can see this as a Hollywood movie. I'm like I can too. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah,
It's on the plan. It's
yeah,
on the
yeah.
plan.
Sure.
The 5 year plan that we have for sure.
Yeah,
All right. So, one last question, and we
sure.
can wrap up. Um, what book, TV, or movie character is most like you?
Wow. You didn't give me a
Yes.
prompt for that one. Let's
No,
see.
I didn't.
Most like me. Yeah, I never really thought about that. Like, I don't like, there's plenty of characters that I enjoy, but I don't really, maybe I'm just not that introspective that I'm like comparing myself to,
Hmm.
characters. Might have to get back to you on that one. Yeah, I don't really,
That's fine.
yeah,
I don't know the answer to this one for myself either, but I
yeah,
just like to see if anyone knows the
yeah,
answer to it because some people
yeah.
are
I
like,
mean,
"Oh
it's
yeah,
definitely
definitely
not
this
something
one."
like, I'm me. I'm not trying to be somebody else. um,
That's
I mean, there's certainly a lot of qualities in other characters that I've seen. Like, I would like to be as smart or as fast or as rich or, or whatever as people. You could pick it pick apart different qualities of people, but I can't really think of anybody who is like me. Yeah, it's a good
that's
question though.
fair.
I'll
Yeah.
keep that in mind as I don't really watch a lot of TV and movies. I tend to read more and play games with family and go biking and play frisbee golf with friends and stuff like that. So I don't. Um, there's a few shows that my wife and I watch, and we got some where it's fun with the kids to like rewatch some of the movies that we watched.
Hmm.
So we talked about Lord of the Rings, going through Lord of the Rings, or sorry, not we talked about it. I was talking about that with somebody else earlier, but I kind of going through that. It was actually on a TikTok. I was like, uh, because today's a work day, right? But it's like the Friday before Christmas. All the meetings get canceled. Everyone's on PTO. I'm like, I'm not working today. So I jumped on ran a TikTok with some other authors, and then we're talking about a bunch of stuff earlier today. Um, but watching Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and kind of watching those movies that we had watched earlier with them, and like some of the action movies. So kind of catching up on you know um, we watched Independence Day the other day. So like fun movies like that. So
It's
with the
such a good
kids,
movie.
it's like fun to rewatch those with the kids. But there's so many great movies and TV shows out there, and like we'll watch a few here or there. But it's really not that much. It's not a big part of our lives.
That's fair. Yeah, I the last few years I had the more I write, the less I watch
Oh,
because I don't
certainly.
have time. I'm like
Yeah,
I can sit down and binge watch this show or I can go and write
yeah,
my books. And so
yeah.
I go and I write.
Knock out your 500
Yeah.
words over 4 hours. But
Shut up. I hate that. That's like the most depressing feeling in the world.
it's fine because they're going to be 500 good
Congratulations.
words. They're
Yeah,
going to be
I do
500
edit
good
as I
ones.
write.
Yeah,
So they'd
yeah,
be
yeah.
500
I
good
do
ones.
too.
But there was definitely more of them.
Yeah,
Like I wanted to reach like a million words this year. I don't think I came close.
that's a
Maybe
lot.
next year.
That's a lot.
That is a lot of words.
Is that like the final boss monster on your program that you have to beat?
I don't
Million
know
words.
because I don't actually play the game.
Okay.
Occasionally, I'll put a monster in because it'll give me a time limit,
Okay.
and so like I feel like I have to write, but I really just like it for the word count.
Yeah.
Like that's what I paid for.
That makes sense.
Uh, all right. So where can our listeners find you?
So I'm everywhere. I can. My link tree. Oh, what's my link tree? I'm not sure if I can look it up. My link tree should be Jordan Fitch author, but I'm because of the unknown state of TikTok. I am on Blue Sky. I'm on Lemonade. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Threads, Instagram, Facebook. It's pretty much all Jordan Fitch author. There may be a couple variations, but if you go to jordanwrites.net, that's my page. That's my website where there's a mailing list. I've got most of my social media links. I probably need to update those, but you can certainly find my find my email contact, and then my books are on Amazon. They're on Ingram Sparks, so you can find them on Barnes and Noble, Target, Walmart, all the places like that, and then a number in a growing number of libraries and bookstores around the area too are
That's so
stocking. So
exciting.
that's always fun. Yep.
That's so exciting. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and
Absolutely.
we will catch you next time.